Okay, so there's some stuff I wanted to talk about. I swear to God, I've been up all fucking night, it seems like sometimes. But I fell asleep like at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I was so tired. And some of the times where I'll be like, man, I've been trying to sleep for a long time. It's just the disruption. I don't know. It is because it's like as soon as I go to sleep, as soon as I am relaxed, I'm somewhere else. I'm out. And then when I get woke up and have to get pulled back in, it is like, oh my God, it's so exhausting. And it makes me like I can't walk around. I start bumping into things and I'll just feel so out of it. And it's just so consistent right now. And my homemade makeup is being difficult today. It's like not even working and it was like all over the place. So I don't know. I could have big black smudges all over my face again. I don't know. It looks like it. But this thing plays tricks on my eyes. Sometimes, well, that obviously was real. I had to add some more oil to it. And so it was so dry it wouldn't even go on. And I added more oil. But it's still, I don't know. I'm certainly no makeup expert. I swear. I think for half of my life, I used the $3 Maybelline, the green and pink one. Anyways, I'm going to get back to what I was talking about. I really thought I was going to get caught up on all the sleep for these days while this kid was gone. She's coming back tomorrow. It's like, I'm just going to be just as tired when she gets back. Because when somebody else comes into the house, like, they don't understand. Like, I've adapted my schedule to Stella. I'm in service. That's what I'm in right now. I'm in total service of somebody that I love. And so I'm on her schedule. And it may be a really strange schedule to some people, but it's like I got to get some sleep when I can get it. And so, yeah, when you're going into someone else's house that is, I can get like why that would kind of suck. But I don't know, I kind of had this idea like a teenager was way more of like just wanted to hang out in their bedroom and write poems and draw pictures like I did. Like I didn't want to go out and be around adults for sure. So anyways, but another thing when I was talking about the development thing, and when you have like kids being raised in a home environment where you have like structured rules and certain rules, the kids start doing certain things at a certain time. So you make rules, and that's how they all kind of, kids get told things around the same time because developmentally they all start doing it around the same time, just like crawling, walking, talking. And we have a lot more interference now because of all the chemicals, the drugs, what people on antidepressants. We got a lot of situations going with the mutations that they're creating with all of the chemicals and toxins that people just don't realize what's going on. But anyways, in that development, that you have certain things, to set boundaries or, to put up bumpers for a kid, like so that they can only go so far. And that's why it's super important to have healthy parents who understand boundaries and are not living their childhood back out through them, which most adults who grow up in this environment grow up damaged because they didn't, it's just been a generational thing. This is in everybody's family. There's some sort of patterns that have developed that have held us all back, where we just keep doing this repeat through generation after generation. And that is why, this is all coming to the surface, so we can catch it, we can see and be like, oh my God. And that is why we got so many people becoming so divided with their family members, not understanding that how it all works together. They're like, well, I need to cut them off. I need them out of my life. That's not what the healthy thing would be to do. The healthy thing to be is to break generational cycles. And yeah, I understand there's a lot of parents. I hear it over and over. These people with older parents, and I got to try and not be triggered because it's so often that I hear it. And I got to keep remembering, well, we're not all the same old people. Like, there's some old people who are carrying all of their pain and suffering, all their damage for all these years, all their resentment, all their anger. They have not dealt with anything. I don't know. I could have a big black smudge there too. So anyways, you know, that is what everything is coming up in, is being so at the surface about the generational trauma that exists in everybody's lineage and stuff. And why it's important for the person who realizes it and notices it, it kind of falls on them that they're the changer. They're the one, anything you see, it's like your higher self will bring things. Because you got to remember, when you go into a room, there's a billion things you could look at, but there's going to be something specific. So it's like your higher self is always drawing your attention to where it needs to be. And like I said, throughout my life, once I started getting into 2021 and started understanding more of my role, because for some time, like I really didn't understand my role. It was very confusing, even though they were telling me all the time. From the time I was young, it was very repetitive. And the things that they would stand out to me, the things that would be, that would catch my eye or something, catch my interest, it was all being built on what they were trying to teach me. And, man, I'm going so fast, I gotta catch my breath. Hold on. I gotta do breathing stuff. I do all sorts of weird stuff. I'm a real weirdo. And I don't care. To me, you have to be a weirdo, because when you connect to yourself, like I just saw this on TikTok last night. I might have been in the middle of the night when I woke up. I think I checked my phone, and but I always just do these exercises. Like I can just be sitting here and I'll start doing whatever those arm push-up things, you know, when you go and you sit out from the chair, and then you use your arms and you do those push-ups. Or I just start doing like exercises around my house. Like if I'm sitting here, like I'll probably, if I'm sitting here watching something, I'll be doing like stretches and stuff. Like I'll be doing weird stuff, trying to put my leg over my head and all that kind of stuff. Well, and then I saw, oh, now they have an app. It's called the Lazy Girl exercise or something like that. It was like, well, you don't have time to get to the gym, and it does all these exercises. Like you can buy this app so you can get all these exercises, so you know what to do, and for whatever your nice price of $3.99, $9.99, whatever. And just in the ones that I saw, I was like, oh my God, I already do all those, like all of these things. And I just listened to my body. I've talked about this so many times. The whole chi thing, the yoga, the stretches, that's how I started realizing, like, you're not supposed to just go to yoga class and listen to commands. You're supposed to tune into your body. Your body starts communicating with you. You start going into other stretches. You start developing your own and stuff, like, and that is you connecting to yourself and seeing what you need. And, you know, some yoga, we definitely don't all need the same thing at the same time. And, you know, like I said, though, that those classes are still good because you go and you learn stretches and you learn from them. But I think the main goal is for you to connect to yourself and just go out, you know, and you do your morning stretches out in the sunrise and get yourself you know, like, and then doing your chi, get your energy around you. And then all of the stuff, though, to me, all of these things I have done just by, well, I knew some exercises. Like I used to be an exercise person, so I knew some of them, but so I just kind of developed them into ones in my own house. So maybe the app would help if you've never gone to any exercise class and you don't know any exercises. But anyways, that's why I've been saying this whole time is like you start treating your house like a cell. Like you're in, what is that called when, I keep catching my breath. The prisoners were, when they get locked down and they're not allowed to go into the general population and they have to stay in their rooms and they just do all their, you know, they still take care of themselves and they're in cell and some of them are even on death row. So to me it is, I started looking at when we were in lockdown, I started looking at my room like that. Like, how can I take care of myself in this small space? And so, anyways, I just thought it was funny. Now they have this whole app is about it. And it's weird because I keep seeing that kind of stuff. Like I said, like a while back, like I would start using some weird word. I would just start saying some weird word. And then all of a sudden, everybody would be saying the word. I was like, that is so crazy. Because even in the beginning, like it was in 2020, and when I was on Twitter, I wasn't hearing anybody say about the system. Nobody was talking about what was this thing, and I heard them, all these different people referring to it in different things, calling it different things. And so I just started saying the system. I started referring to it the system. Then other people started saying the system. Then all of a sudden it was like everybody was saying the system. And it isn't like just me would be saying it. Probably just as they have a grid, it just goes into your head and you start seeing it and then it goes out. It's trippy. But, they're always putting stuff in my head and showing me and giving me attention to what they want me to pay attention to. And what has tripped me out now as somebody I would just call a seer is how far ahead I can see. Like, I didn't realize how far ahead I could see. Like, some of the things, when I started seeing them, I thought that meant it was about to happen right now. Like, even back in 2015. And so or 2016, whatever, it was back when my awakening was really going and getting started, like back then, after I did my healing. So I think when I first started seeing things, I thought, oh, well, they're showing me because this is about to happen, especially in regards to this person. I thought that was going to be like that. When they first started showing me, it was weird too, because the things that they were showing me and telling me and stuff. And so I thought it was going to be, I was going to Spain and Portugal at that time. And I thought, oh, this is, and it was so quick. And then it just kept being all these times. So all these different things. And I kept thinking, oh, well, it's got to be now. It's got to be now. It's got to be now. And for things to go, and how far now that I can understand, that I can see ahead. And that, and I totally get about how much you learn and stuff. Like, sometimes I'm confused as like why they show me stuff so far ahead. But the whole reason I'm saying that is because the stuff that I'm saying about the age of Aquarius could be way ahead. Like, I start being like, man, that could be like 10 years out. Like, some of that stuff. We could have to go through a lot of stuff, and that wouldn't be the focus of what they're going to show me, is all of that trauma, like where all these people see all of this trauma and stuff. They don't show me that. They're always showing me what's ahead. And so that's why I can, and the stuff that they show me to really help me to understand about the, bad things have to happen, have good things happen. That everybody's here, everybody agreed to what's going on. Just because they can't remember doesn't mean, it seems like a lot of trauma is happening, but really it's a lot of advancement, it's a lot of growth. And that is, it's the circle of life. That's how growth comes. Death brings growth. And so it's all part of this magical thing happening. But what they show me ahead is what I think is about, like, so I understand why I'm here. Because I didn't understand some of that stuff before. Like, even in my, because I had a spiritual background, which, watching people wake up and realizing how many people didn't and still don't have a spiritual background. And, even religion is restrictive on your spirit. And so it's not, it's a restriction on your connection to self. It's overseen by somebody. It's got rules. And so that is it's not true connection to the point it could be. Like, people are going to become way more connected to their side, their spiritual side, when there's not this third party involvement. But there's going to be a lot of people who are going to have a hard time when they realize that the God that they've been getting these people to worship is the opposite of what the people thought they were worshiping. And so, and the stories of Jesus is created to manipulate. It's just like in that movie Mother, man, when it shows like the God character, like Mother Nature is just like a timid, kind of beat down housewife, and that's what she's pretty much playing in the movie. But God is the ego, their God is this egomaniac, doesn't care about anybody, just wants all the attention on him and stuff like that. And I guess that's why they have to give sacrifices and shit, like, I don't know. And then how many of these rituals that they do, like after the Sam Smith thing, then, there was some tragic shit that happened. People need to start putting this stuff together. And so the because this part that we're in, this part is really, the hard part for people. And one thing that really I thought could kind of use to make the point is, so in Texas, they had a big storm, and then the big freeze, and then people didn't have power. So even though the ice road thing was over with, or whatever was going on, all of their problems, they still had no power and they were still freezing. And there was some problem with some food. So in Austin, there was a huge crowd of people that were at a dumpster, all getting food out of this dumpster. And there's footage of it. And then they either came and started arresting people, or did something to the garbage so the people couldn't eat it. It was some sort of a thing, because they're literally trying to starve people. And so that, to me, right there. And so just in Austin, it's like, so you'd have people like me who were prepared and had their stuff and were paying attention and were able to sustain themselves and, not have to panic, not be scared or any of that stuff, because they were able to take care of themselves. And then you have the other people who were not prepared, who are going out there, digging in garbage to find food and shit. A lot of people. And in Austin, I'd imagine it's probably because the whole city is based on partying. So imagine a lot of people distracted by, having a good time. And so that's like the old story of the three little pigs, you have the ones that were prepared and the ones that weren't. Their whole house blows down. And so that is the trauma. That is the tribulation, the problem for these people. So each person, so all these different people in these different places are having different experiences depending on your own awareness. And so, somebody who hasn't had any awareness, and they are in a way more traumatic situation. Like, I've seen these footages all the time of people who do their TikToks when there's no power. And it is in Turkey that they did take down the their internet and all this stuff so that they could stop communicating. Same thing they did in Iran when they do all this stuff so that the people can't show what's going on. The red cloud is back. There's I think the last count's 22,000 dead, and the last I'd heard on injured was 70,000. So I don't know if that number's going up as fast, because they're having to dig people out of the rubble. And it's so crazy, when I very first had seen all these buildings crashing, that people were saying that these buildings were they were set up for demolition, because they shouldn't be going down like they did with the towers. They shouldn't be going like that. It should be falling different. I don't know. I don't even think Turkey normally has the earthquakes, so who knows how prepared their houses are. But the earthquake that's going to shake LA, and I think it could also be because now with so much going on about I mean, yesterday it was, everybody was talking about the shootout over Alaska. I mean, every fucking video was about that. And it being a UFO. And then, you know, Russia shot down a UFO. And all this stuff up in the air and shooting it down and stuff. You know, and is it just to draw our attention up there? Is it so that they can start preparing us like, oh, we're fighting spaceships up here? You know, I don't know what all they're trying to, you know, if it's all just a distraction, because now, you know, we're going to get the strike back because of what we did to their pipeline situation. And, you know, and it's so crazy because it's like, it's the deep state fighting the rest of the people. And I think even with like the Turkey government, I think that was part of the Nasar Gassar, that when you had to sign on to the peace treaty part to get the money, that it was like, we have to all go together against this deep state. And Putin is kind of the head of, you know, the firing back and saying things. And then kind of like Trump is kind of like the backup singer right now, it seems like. And he's coming out and saying some stuff. And so he, you know, and of course, you know, he's going to say the stuff to get our attention on the war and all of this stuff. So they have, I mean, it's just got so many things. There's so much activity at the bases. Somebody just did footage of a submarine just sitting out of a Florida coast, just sitting there, and they're just like, well, what the hell's going on here? And so I think that we're surrounded. I saw this guy yesterday, and he was saying that he thinks that New York, LA, and Texas are all going to get, he said one of them in particular is going to get bombed. And then it's going to be really bad. I think he was saying all three of those places. I think for sure. I think New York is for sure on the cutting block. I think that it's going to go down. That's going to be a lot of people. And I think it's still this water thing. And I think the water thing is going to come. I think they're going to, because they're already doing these. Yesterday we flew some missile out across the water to show, like, yeah, well, we mean business. It's all such a fucking game. It's just silly. And so there'll be some sort of explosion in the water. I think they've already been trying to do something, like they know where to hit on the fault lines and shit like that. So they're going to do some sort of explosion, probably create a tsunami or something, and an earthquake. Like, it's going to be something really. And they can also just strike with some bombs. But I have felt the whole time that it's going to be, and they'll do a bunch at once. And it probably will start up by, I would think, it could start with Vancouver, because I'm pretty sure that Canada is involved now too. So no matter, they're going to hit all the major cities on this coast, I think. I think Seattle, which that is going to be the problem over here by me. Because, I mean, there will be so many people who will go out into the street. I have seen other people now on videos saying, has anyone seen how crazy some of these people on the street are getting? Like, people are, you gotta be careful out there. People are going crazy on the streets, doing crazy shit. Like, I just saw it, just driving in. And when I go tomorrow, I gotta go drive in the dark to go get her. And, you know, that's another level out here. And so anyways, you gotta be careful, because the people are going crazy. But when they start going into panic, see how you have all these people having to go dig in a dumpster because they're not prepared, because they're busy out happy hours and shit. And so then when this goes down, whatever, and it could be, you know, I mean, it could be siren, it could be probably something like you know, alarms or something will get some sort of signal. And some place has been hit. And probably will start with LA and New York. And because in LA, they've got a lot of people they want to, they're going to kill a lot of people in California. I think that is going to be a huge amount of people. And it stresses me out. Like, I mean, I've got family there. So, and that is the thing in Turkey, because there's a girl who is American and she's been living in this small Turkey village, and she always comes on and talks about the experience. And, so people went on to her account when the earthquake happened and started asking her questions. And she said that the whole country is devastated because every single person knew somebody, and they're very compassionate towards each other. And so everybody knew somebody who's affected in this tragedy. And that's what's going to happen here too. It's going to be something hugely devastating. And I think LA is definitely, in New York. And then I think that for sure San Francisco, so it could be like alarms go off. We've been bombed, like the Hawaii thing that will go on, that we've got a missile coming. Everyone protect yourself, get your bug out bags, prepare, evacuate. They'll start telling people to evacuate. The people who will panic, who are scared to die, who think that they can really die, they'll go into major panic mode. And it is just like adrenaline will kick in. They won't be able to think. It is if you've ever had adrenaline kick into that level, you can't think. It's like a whole nother thing takes over. And so, I would just survive. So you're going to have all these people out there who are just want to survive. And that is where you're going to have people who will shoot each other. I mean, it's going to be violent. Very violent when they start evacuating these densely populated places with people who haven't woke up yet. It's going to be extreme. And so that is where you don't want to be going out and getting involved in that. That is going to be so much more dangerous. And once they get all the people on the roads, especially this whole thing with the 5, it is being such an evacuation, and how close it is to the water, and getting all those people on that road with all of that, man, it's just like, I can be it's just, all I can see from all evacuation stuff is disaster. Anytime that I look into evacuation, I don't see it going well. I don't see it going at all. People can't even handle fucking traffic after work. Like, I was driving, where was that? It was in Bellingham, lanes end and shit. It's madness, whoever fucking created the roads over there. And I was driving, and my road was about to end. So I put on my blinker. And of course, the woman who is back, she's not going to just, step back a little bit and let me over, even though I'm about to hit the things. No, she's going to speed up and make sure she gets in front of me so I can just stop and wait. And, it's like people can't just adjust. They can't just, work together or something. It is this doggy dog. Oh, I'm going ahead. It's that attitude. That attitude is an attitude that won't be leveling up. Like, if that attitude is holding you back, then that will be, to me, it's going to be people's demise. They're having a shitty attitude towards other people, not prioritizing what really matters, prioritizing stuff that is materialistic, shallow, superficial, artificial, all of that stuff. A big one, huge one to me is the medical right now. Like, all these people who are sick, like lots of people are sick right now, and they're all rushing to the ERs, and the ERs are all full. The ERs are like, there's people who are waiting for a room. They're admitted in the ER for days. I've heard of people in ambulances out in the line, that the line's so long on the ambulances, which is only a certain amount of ambulances in every city. It's not like there's new ones coming when they get full. So how many people are just sitting in their houses waiting for an ambulance, because all the ambulances are in the line? I mean, the whole system is falling apart. And this is what, when I've been saying it, this is what I'm talking about. The system is falling apart. And if you're relying on it for your health, you're going to go down with the ship. And so all these people waiting, and people don't realize when they're saying that the hospital is full, that there's not enough beds and stuff, there's not enough staff. There's not enough people working. I bet you go in those hospitals, I bet you would find empty beds all over the place. They don't have staff. And I bet you the staff they do have, they're overwhelming them. They have been piling on the patient loads on nurses. They have been making requirements, and not just requirements on their own physicality, but they're required to harm another. And they're required to turn a blind eye while they're watching things happen. So people are leaving the job, especially licensed people start understanding. And there's more going on with the trials on the censorship with Twitter. Like there's these people being arrested. There's people and they're calling out this one that I've seen, the one I had seen with Miss Gaddy. Miss Gaddy's going down. Miss Gaddy, she was censoring doctors, and then when she was being questioned, I believe by Congress, that she what they were asking her is about her medical knowledge, how she was able to censor doctors who graduated from Harvard and Stanford and stuff like that, how she knew more than them. And so, the people, and I've said this all along, the people who are involved in this shit did not realize how big, like you are involved in something so big. And that is where a lot of people, when they go in to face their own, like a Miss Gaddy, she's going to be pulling on every fucking person who was over her, telling her what to do. Those are the people that they're after, is the ones that really have the control, the ones that are waving their dicks in these kids' faces, telling them what to do. But the kids will be there. All the people who are involved in the censorship and stuff, they may not all have to meet the FS, but they're going to, there's going to be consequences. And the other lady who I had seen, she was talking about, and she was a congressperson, I think, and hers got taken down because she made a joke about Hillary, or she was some sort of politician or something, and she made a joke about Hillary, and it was taken down. Her stuff, she called it, maybe she said like an invisibility shield is put over your account, which they did it again to mine. Like I get up again this morning, even on the TikTok, when I had broke the algorithm the other day, that one video got 130,000. It stopped, immediately. Like they do everything they can to stop this stuff, because all of the ones before and after them will start getting thousands of views. And so, and as soon as it starts getting more views, your starts going faster and faster and faster. So then they spent all day striking me, and then it just shut my whole account down. And then, and even though when it was like that, I should have gotten up with 130,000 views. I should have gotten up to probably at least over 1,000 new followers. And I had 36. So even when they have these things that are breaking free, they still have some sort of restrictions. And they still have some sort of way of keeping us silent. And it's going to go down. I mean, and the one lady, the politician lady, she was talking about her case. And she goes, and I'm not that worried about mine. But she said, what bothers me is the millions of citizens that were shut down. And, I was one of them, and I have been this whole time. And I'm saying things that will help people, not hurt anybody. And, all their stuff with bullying and misinformation and stuff like that. They're going to all be in trouble, because they are in a time of the Gen side that people want to pretend like isn't happening, that you participated. Like you look up the Nuremberg trials, and it was doctors, lawyers, all just regular citizens that had to go on trial for the parts they played. And it's like these people are going to learn some history real quick, I guess. So anyways, that is, you got all of that going on. Then we have all of this stuff about World War III. Like, that's just nonstop. The stuff with the balloons and stuff like that. There's things being shot down and all these different things talking about how do they get here? Where are they coming from? What are they? Why is China? All of these different things that people keep talking about. And then we have, the the threat of, I think they're going, the stuff is going to go down, and then it's going to, everything is going to go. Like, even if the 10-minute, I think it would probably be like, I don't know, they probably give it 25 minutes. A missile's been launched. We estimate it to hit into LA in the epicenter in 25 minutes. We need people to begin evacuating, take shelter. They'll start giving out orders, of what people need to do. And then that's when the chaos will ensue. And then, I think when we get it, it's going to be the same thing as like what they did in Turkey. There's going to be an EMP. There's going to be some sort of a blast. And so the blast is going to take out all of the power. So we're going to have no power. And I just keep seeing a big black smear. And now I know, because that other day when I kept seeing that, and then later I went and looked and I had this big black smear, but there was no way I was going to take off that whole fucking video, because there's no way. I can't repeat this when it's coming in. It's not like you could go in and repeat. It's always frustrating, even when I have to just start over. So anyways, I think it would be something like that. Then the chaos will ensue. They'll definitely, there's going to be destruction. There's going to be mass casualties. And then it will, they're going to with Seattle for sure, because it is such a hugely populated place. And the money is, you got to think about, it is an energy. It's like an attitude. It's like it's like the earth is releasing this certain like characteristics or something, and there's a lot of like shallowness that is revolved around the coastline and stuff like that. Like, how much it costs and stuff. Like, people with a lot of money live on the coastline, a lot of money. And so people with a lot of money, a lot of them have had to do some pretty unethical things. There's a lot of stuff that goes on revolved around a lot of money. And so there's a cleansing that will be done in places. And another thing too, so the Euphrates is all dried up now and is exposed a cave. In the, I think it's the Bible prophecy. I'm not even sure of all the different prophecies, but there's a whole big thing about the Euphrates drying up and it being the fifth, what do they call them? The angel, the horses, the horsemen. Like, I hear him talking about the horsemen, and I think we're on the 5th or the 6th horseman, like, when they go in and explain that stuff. And then it's something about some sort of god or angels or something is under the Euphrates or something, and it's going to be exposed. And so I was thinking, now it's all dried in the cave, but they won't be able to hide what it is. And I would imagine it's going to be something that's going to show us our truth about our history. So something will be exposed to give us our truth, which it could be something with this big giant spaceship craft thing under there. It could be more, what are those? There's all of those things underneath, like the pyramids and stuff. Like chambers and stuff. So there could be something in there that's going to come out that is going to be revealed. Like, I don't know. It could be a bunch of giants. Like, I don't know what it's going to be. But it's going to be something, I think, that's going to awaken people to the truth of our history. And so, you know, that's all in the prophecy about it drying up and something being exposed. And now they've exposed this cave. So this, so more stuff with that will be coming. More stuff with the Middle East. There's so much, and like I had said, even with Iran, and now I have heard more too about the history with Turkey. Yeah, those are the things that they're breaking free from. Like, there's an energy in these places, and those are the energies that people are breaking free from. And, you know, you see so many people begging for help for their areas and stuff like that. And they don't realize, like, every place is going to be needing help. But this one lady, she was in Syria, and she was saying there's nobody coming. I mean, it's so devastating here. And they've been under attack in their wars for so long. And then they get this, and nobody is paying any mind or helping them or anything, she said. And she showed the airplane thing. And so all these airplanes are going into Turkey to bring them supplies and stuff. And nobody's taking anything. Syria was like nothing. No planes, nothing. And so they're just abandoned. So there's a whole thing for those people. That experience is to bring something up in them. Everything is to empower us, to break free from these patterns of control and oppression. And it's for us to know our own strength and to stand in our own shoes, stand on our own bare feet, really. Because the shoes, now to learn that, you know, we used to, all our shoes were made out of wool or wood, so that we were always grounded, and how important it was for us to always be barefoot. And that's why they created the rubber soles on our shoes, rubber tie. Everything is to keep us disconnected from our environment, to keep us separated from who and what we are, to keep us confused and controlled. And so, but everybody has it inside their soul. Everybody's soul knows, except for everybody's soul is distracted. It's being led. And so that is where you have to come into communication to yourself. I'm constantly telling people, like, you've got to go in and talk to yourself. And people think like that's so crazy. It's not crazy. You have communication going on inside of you. If you could really understand, you are a fucking mothership yourself. You have a whole thing happening here for this experience, for this adventure, for this journey that you're on. And you are your own mothership. You have communication. And so, you know, it's up to you to turn on the signal and start communicating and asking. And, you know I'm not the only one out there where they will start fucking telling you back. And, you know, because all the way back when I had, you know, I had gotten comfortable with going through the whole disconnect from religion back then. That was the whole big thing, because everybody was expected to go to church on Sundays, call yourself a Christian everywhere you went. You know, it was like a whole thing. People nowadays don't realize what things were like back then. And so then, and to even be able to tell my mom, and probably one of the reasons I could is because my dad was like the devil himself. And so so my mom used to always say and stuff. So anyways, I don't mean it so much now, but at the time he was playing a very dark role. And so he didn't go to church. And so, you know, some of the Sundays we could be like, well, I'm staying home with Dad. I'm not going today. And, you know, I'm sure to relive that in a life review, I'm going to see how much pain that caused my mom. And because she really did think like, this guy's a devil and my poor children. And so, anyways, but in that part, when I had to start saying, because I started questioning, like, what about this? What about that? In church or whatever, if I was talking to the preacher or whatever. And they would always say, even whenever I'd ask my mom, the whole thing would be, you just got to trust. You just got to trust. You just have to have faith. You don't question it. And then when I had recently saw It was on Orange is the New Black when that lady was becoming Jewish, and she said what she liked about it was because you're supposed to question everything. It's like, yeah, that's weird how Christians, their whole thing is don't question it, just be a blind follower. It's so culty. And so when I started breaking free, and somehow, whatever, it was something that my mom was reading, and so I swear it was the Celestine Prophecy, and it was Marianne Williamson. And now there's so many more people. Like there's a song called Bitch, the Alanis Morissette sang. Well, now you can't find it. She didn't sing it anymore. It's somebody else. So, I mean, I knew that was weird about the Celestine Prophecy, but now, there's other people who are having that same thing. Because when you're the only one, people are just like, wait, she just doesn't remember. It wasn't Marianne Williamson. It's like, yeah, it was. And I'm pretty sure that was the book she was reading. And she was like, oh, it's so good. You got to read it. So when I read it, I think that was I know that there was 2 books right there that changed me on my trajectory of spirituality. And that is when, I started reading all of these reincarnation ones. And then I read all these new NDE ones. Dr. Moody, he had a whole bunch of books. So I was reading all those. And then I just was comfortable with what I believed. And then I just, got into survival mode of this world. And it wasn't until I got my brain injury that, it had to bring me back. It was that come to Jesus moment. Remember who you and what you are. And so that is when I started really being able to understand. I got my brain injury in 2009. And so then, I had a whole new Kelly that was trying to understand this world. And so going through all that, then once I got to the healing, which the whole thing was a multi-layered situation. And once, though, that my last husband left me, that is when all of my real healing started. Because before that, it was just trying to heal from my brain injury, just trying to figure out how am I going to make it in this world anymore, what's going, it was a lot to try and do to have your whole life shift like that in the middle of, when you have a plan and then the whole plan is ripped out from under you. And so that was a lot of healing and stuff I had to go through. And then once my last husband, that's when it started with the major healing, the dark night and all that stuff. And that is when everything started really changing for me in the spiritual. Everything started opening up. And that's when I got triggered by this other person, and that's when they started telling me all about this, what I'm doing here, and like that is when everything started taking off. And so that was more like 2015 or 2016. And it's so crazy when I hear these people who woke up like 2020, 2021, and they're like, oh, these other people are never going to wake up. It's like, when you woke up way back then, it was like, I didn't know if anybody was going to. They were telling me and they were showing me, and that is where I kept saying, I was telling my kids, I was telling everybody, I said, there's going to be some really bad stuff that's going to start happening in everybody's lives. There's going to be all these people are going to start dying. There's going to be all these storms. There's going to be all this bad stuff. And it's going to be all this come to Jesus moments. It's all for this come to Jesus moment. It's all about this. That's what I kept saying back then. That's the only thing I could really understand about it. But so much more has expanded now. And that's the thing, is when you're going through it, it's an expansive adventure. It's an expansive experience. You don't just get to one place and you stopped and that's it. It just opens another door. It opens another channel inside of you for your own development. And so, that is where I think where people start saying about like they're getting their gifts and stuff like that, is your connection to yourself. And so all of those kind of things about you expanding is your gifts. It's you. They're always there. It's you connecting to yourself and to understand yourself. So And it's happening for everybody. So these people who get so in their ego that other people aren't going to wake up and they're so much better than these other people, and they're, calling everybody sheeple and stuff like that. That's what they're going to face in themselves. When this happens, they're going to face their own ugliness. And so there's a lot of people who are having a shitty attitude towards other people, and they're going to have to face that. It's, that's why I had said, even when I started noticing, like in 2020, and then I started saying things and people were like, start calling me a racist and start saying I was crazy and all that stuff. Then I wanted to sit and argue with them, because I knew that would be what I would have. I had to manage all this myself. I knew if I was being triggered, that was something I needed to heal. And I knew if I went in and started bringing all my ugliness out, that's what I was going to have to deal with. And so I knew that I needed to, face myself. Why would I be triggered? Why would I care what this person thinks? Why, and that's where you go into and start really trying to develop yourself, and not sit there and try and change them and get them to see what I see. And really realizing, especially, at first I thought I could. At first in 2020, when I started talking to them, I thought I could somehow wake them up. And I tried so many people. Oh my God, I tried so many people. And as when I was like, you can't. It's impossible. They can't hear you. They can't hear what you're saying. It doesn't go into their mind. And so I started really trying to pay attention and understand, like, how is it? How does it start going? And that's where I was like, oh, you ask the questions. Ask the questions. Once you start asking questions, then you start opening yourself up to the truth, to the answers or something. It's the people just, blindly trust that are, don't ask the questions. I just know that has so much to do with it. And why people don't ask the questions is because they keep people so trapped in this concept of being mentally ill and crazy and stuff. Like, they push this so hard. It's so ridiculous. Even that Jimmy Kimmel fucking skit he did with the Barbies, the anti-Barbie, and just talking about like all of the little things. Oh, and Miss doesn't believe in science, and just making fun of the people, Jimmy's going down. Oh, Jimmy, all those late night hosts, like, bye-bye, guys. Guess you should have been a little bit more wary of who you were working for. But I mean, like the one guy, Colbert, I think he enjoys the feast. Like, he likes to talk about that shit. Gets Hillary on there and wants to talk about, like, the size of a baby and the sandwich. And, yeah, that guy's a sicko. And I saw something else, too, with him. Like, at a party with some costume. Like, these weird pictures come out. Just like that Podesta video or audio. Yeah, it's the video too, but you just can't see anything. But you can hear it. You see all the flashing. But you call me daddy. And the kid's just sitting there screaming and crying. Oh, fuck these people. Like, oh my God. I don't understand causing someone pain like that. Like, it's weird. Yeah, and these people are also convinced, like, eating baby blood will, oh man, I don't know. It's just sick. So sickening. But, and what bothers me too, whatever, they just blew up over Alaska, and Alaska was already in a predicament because they had already flooded them right at the beginning of winter, and leaving them with I know there's a big black smudge there, leaving them with no supplies and stuff. And then now I know that there's all the things that they're blowing up in the sky is toxins. There was somebody even who messaged me and said, ever since that they had exploded that thing, I've had a headache every single day since. I've had a headache every day. I said, I've had a headache every day since. And I'm way over here, but supposedly there was one in Montana too. that they shot, like that person got that footage of it. And so I don't know. I mean, they spray stuff on us all the time, and it's just, I don't know. I'll just be. It's like I want them to hurry up and do the next part. Like, hurry up and just do it. Like, this part is the worst. Like, how much of my hair just keeps falling out. That is like, oh my God, stuff like that. Where you, because this is the thing, is even if you are here and you are just focused on taking care of yourself and not focused on all of the stuff they do, it still fucking affects you. That's the thing that is mind-blowing. And that's the thing where the people are all like, well, you just don't pay attention. You just don't pay attention to it. It won't affect you. Yeah, it will. Then how, the deers don't know they're being, how are they killing them? Like, you don't have to know. I mean, they're poisoning us. There's something, like, they know with this chemical and frequency thing. Like, there's a whole thing, and it's so weird how this is like this simulation, in that they can still affect us so much like that, you know. And I know it has to do with, because the simulation exists by frequency, so that they disrupt the frequency somehow, and that is why, you know, that we get sick or something. Like, there's something about that, I feel like. And so anyways, what is today? Saturday. It's still, I mean, they could blow shit up today. That's for sure. Any day. I mean, the people who are watchdogging the World War III thing, they are sharing all sorts of stuff. And there's a lot of threat, like they're watching every single thing. And the pipeline thing, that was a big one that was going to get us. There's already so many things. I mean, he's done so many things, like, to get them to fight back to us, you know, like, because it's all the setup thing. It's all supposed to happen this way. And then once this starts going, I mean, Trump is going, somehow Joe's going to go down. I mean, this constant thing, like Pence right now, he's being investigated. So they're going to, you know, they're going to keep taking these people down, and they're going to put him back in. There's going to be all of this huge shift, because there's going to be so many people arrested, and it's all going to be like, everything's going to be super fragile, I think, because there's going to be so much devastation. So it's going to be kind of, to me, like directing people to safe places. And then the economy is going to crash, and I don't know how it'll be like, oh, well, the war, now we got to do that. Like, I don't know how every little piece is going to fit together. I just know the pieces that they're trying to push on us are not going to be where we're headed. That they are going to, that all of the stuff they're pushing and trying to bring to the surface, like even Madonna, like now all of a sudden she's going on tour and she's writing letters and just talking about how she's, you know, she's the, like this goddess. She's the everything in the, it's so fucking egomaniac, her whole thing. And she was the one who made it so everyone else could be themselves or something. They have to show, it's like the exposing, it's like the destroying of legacies, to show what's really inside this person, this true egomaniac. And so much evil shit's going to come out about her. So many of these people, especially the ones they bring onto the main stage at this time, like Jennifer Aniston, she's every fucking, I can't even tell you how many fucking videos I keep seeing of her, Madonna. So some of these people are going to be really exposed over who and what they are. And, you know, but they're going down. Like, they're going to go, I mean, Tom Hanks, he met the FS. They're all going to, a lot of them are going to, people who, you know, people thought were idols, they're going to, you know, meet the FS. So once they start getting people into safer places and given things, that is when we'll start rebuilding. But like, I don't know, I mean, I don't know. I think that there's going to just keep being this chaos of taking down cities and stuff. But there's definitely going to be a huge tragedy that's going to happen on both coasts, for sure. Especially over here on the West Coast, it's going to be super bad because so much of the map is about to change. And I don't know, like I keep saying, it may take a couple years once it starts changing, that it'll just keep changing, because I think the ice wall is going to melt, and that's going to also raise the water. And but that is kind of also representative of us becoming free. And the same with the firmament, because it was kind of like they took all of these different DNAs, these different beings, and like, here, we're going to put you all in a timeout together, and you guys all have to get together, get along, you figure it out. And so everybody's under this firmament, in this bubble of expansion, of learning how to get along, which didn't just happen over 100 years. This is something that's been going on for a really long time to develop us into this stage. Which, by the way, I'm going to stop calling like somebody a black person or a white person. It's one of the guys who keeps showing about the different shades of brown, and he was doing this whole thing yesterday about with his kids, and his wife is light and he's darker, and so teaching his kids and stuff about that kind of whole thing, and wanting people to be more mindful of what they say. And so to really, if we're going to say what it is, it's just different shades of one color. And so to just be, I'm just going to start saying a darker person or a lighter person. I'm going to just really start trying to catch myself all the time and just start referring to people as darker or lighter. And then the only reason is just because I like to have a visual when somebody's telling me about a situation, telling me a story. I like to have a visualization of the characters. And so I like to create the characters, when they tell me. I like to have somebody give me all of who the person was, what they look like, were they tall, were they short, because I like to visualize, give that person their space in my head as I hear their story. So, I'm not trying to be like rude or divisive if I'm talking about what somebody looks like. I'm just trying to give a visual so that somebody who's like me, who wants that, likes it. So, I mean, when you're reading a story, usually a story gives descriptive so that you can create the character in your head. So to me, it's just kind of the same thing. So, and it does make a difference when you're hearing a story. Like, you can just, if you say a lighter person or a darker person, how a person presents some information. If you're saying it's a lighter person and it's a darker person, then you're not going to get the same kind of thing. I don't think. I see a difference. Like when I'm listening, like I said, when I go in and I listen to a lighter person talk about spirituality, and I hear a darker person talk about it, it's like the lighter person, I know some of them feel it. I mean, for sure. I mean, I'm a lighter person and I feel it. I've always felt it. But it just seems like when the darker people are talking about, like, they feel it. Like they feel it. And it's not just them saying something or something. Like, I don't know. It's just a lot more emotional or something. It's a lot more raw when they start talking about spiritual stuff. And the other people are just like, I don't know, Rand Rising, love and light. Don't forget to gather your crystals today and turn on your, I don't know. It's just different. And so anyways, but it's all in the receiver too. And I have this concept of, that is what they were doing, was trying to remove the feeling parts to really, whitewash humanity, and to remove the spiritual side of them. That's what I think they were doing. So, of course, that's what I see. So, anyways, to me, make sure, to be prepared, because that is important, because it's the people who aren't prepared are the ones who are panicked. And the people who are not prepared are going to be the ones who are going to be led into the streets during evacuations that are going to be, it's going to be a deadly situation, I think. But we'll see. I'm definitely not trying to be doomsday, but that's one thing is that I've seen other people who are seers too and say, I'm not trying to be a doomsdayer. You just don't know. Like when you're seeing things like what you're seeing, it's not fun. It's not like pleasant. There's a lot of hard, horrible things. Like I can be talking to somebody and see stuff, and it's like there's a lot of horrible things like people don't want to see. But it's like what just shown to you. It's like what is shown. So, and I think anybody who starts like questioning those things, they'll start seeing the same kind of things. There's way too many people getting the same visions. And New York is a big one for so many people. We're having all those prophetic dreams, so many people with the visions, and that New York's going to be underwater, and it's going to come in like a tsunami. And I think there's going to be, and I don't know if it's going to be a reverberation from another thing that's going to happen, but the water is going to come up. If it's going to be a bomb going out there and the tsunami come up or whatever, it's going to be something super tragic over there. But there's going to be so many places that are going to be so many, just like the lady in Turkey, she's asking, or Syria, saying, we need help over here. It's like, it's hard to find help when every place is having a crisis. Like there's so many crises going on. There's so many tragedies going on. And it's only going to pick up. It's going to be this keep going, picking up until this big shebang thing happens. And once that happens, that's when everything's going to start turning in another direction. It's like the explosion that will take it all away. And it's going to be, that's the thing, is to know like how, is it going to be like all of LA is going to just blow up and then everybody's going to be freaking out and, I don't know. Or is it going to be, I mean, there's so many different ways that any of this stuff can play out. But anyways, we'll see. I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of people in LA who are not going to be expecting it. And then, one thing, we don't even know the numbers, like, of how many people have died through all these storms, how many people have succumbed to the elements, all the people who have been outside, storm after storm after storm. Like, there's got to be a lot of people who have been dying in America through all this, and then the sickness, and then the people that just keep going into the medical system. And then I saw a girl saying she left the Western medical, went into the holistic, and you have to pay $300 every single appointment. And she's like, this is ridiculous. And that is the price gouging. That's the 3D price gouging. That's these people who are really, like, they're there to help humanity, but they need to, make a lot of money off of them first. They got to quit seeing people as price tags. Those people who are doing that, they will have an effect. Something will happen to show them. And it can happen in all different ways. Like, fuck, I don't know. They can lose their business. They can lose their house. Anything can happen at this point for every single person. Because every single person is going to get an opportunity to see what's important and what's not. And when you have people that are saying they care about your health and they're charging you $300, this girl said that she went in and got the appointment, $300. Then she had all these labs done. She had to pay for all these labs to check and see what, heavy metals and all this stuff in her. So she does all of these, then goes back, and 2 of the labs were back, so she has to pay $300 to hear. And then the other one hasn't come back, and then she said that now she has to pay $300 to go back in and get the results from that one lab. It's like $1,000 just on the appointments, just to get results. Like, that's price gouging. I don't understand how these people can sit there and say that they care about people's health and stuff when you're doing that. So somebody can die if they don't have the money to pay your stuff. That is where things are going to be changing. Even when I see these people, like a lot of spiritual people, I think I have some that follow me and they probably don't like me saying it. But this is ridiculous. All these fucking life coaches. Everybody's a fucking life coach. All these people who woke up in 2020 and 2021 are suddenly out there fucking leading the way to spirituality, and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And people are being led off in all sorts of weird, wacko directions. I mean, you got these people who think like they're scared now of manifesting because their brain's so out of control, they're going to manifest anything scary instantaneously. Like, it's wacky. And, you know, it's just, to me, it's all the same with this chaos. And that is going to be the thing. Once this thing happens, there's going to still be the anger. So there's still going to be, but the energy, there's going to be a shift in the energy. It's going to feel different. It's especially going to feel different, you know, to a person who's driving by the dumpster, seeing all the people gathering around there eating food. You know, the person in the car is going to feel pretty good about themselves, that they were prepared. So there's going to be a lot of shifting where people are going to, you know, they're going to see the benefits of spending the time building their house out of bricks and stuff. So, and everything is going to keep collapsing and everything's going to keep being exposed. Like, that's all going to keep happening. And so anyways, I don't even know if I said anything any different than any other day. But you know, I think it's pretty scary whatever they shot down over Alaska now, to me. And the stuff that was in the train derailment thing and the stuff that has been in the balloons out, like, man, I don't, this mushroom thing is like, man, I don't know. So anyways, we'll just gotta keep going and then keep trying to just manage, you know, our own health and stuff. And the food is all funk. Like, it's so weird. There's so much stuff. Even Stella goes up and smells it, and she refuses to eat it. It's like, ugh. There's no telling. I made some cinnamon toast yesterday and started to eat it, and it smelled like bleach. It was like, is it the bread? Is it the butter? Is it like, what in the hell? Like, oh my God. And it's, this is rough going. Like, I just can't wait for things to turn. I can't wait for things to start really, man, I want the alarm thing to go off. Like, even if it is like, prepare, imminent danger. It's like, I'm just going to turn on some music. Well, I don't know. We may not have power, but I'm sure the hell not going to panic, start loading my car up. And if it is something where everybody in my whole neighborhood is leaving, like, I don't know. You just got to do what feels right at the time. Like, no matter what, because like, I'm surrounded by people who are, you know, they're not awake. And so, yeah, I would think they will all start panicking and taking off and going, man, and it's going to be, God, it's going to be such a fucking clusterfuck when they start evacuating over here. God damn, it's going to be a fucking mess. I can't. But when people are not thinking about that, they're not even considering it. They're not even thinking about it, even though it's been posted at the fireplace. Think about your evacuation route. They're not going to be thinking about that, and then shit will go down. It will go into fucking panic, especially if they do it while people's kids are at school. And they've got a whole thing now where some schools are sending these things wanting all these kids to fingerprint, put all their information, and the parents are like, why are you and a whole thing about having kids bring this emergency stuff, and that they're gonna, if something goes down, they're gonna lock it down. So they want to separate kids from their parents. And I'd seen other parents catching on to that and going, I'm not sending my kid to school anymore. I guess the amount of kids going into schools now is way, way down. And even when I went to Bellingham the other day, they had built this whole brand new, fucking so fancy. Oh my God, this the playground. And then once you know, like a playground is $300,000 for like a minimum. And this big fancy playground, this elaborate fancy elementary school. And it's called something like Rainbow Future World or something. It's like, and you got to remember where this is a very progressive place. So no telling. Like they probably have twerking class in there. Like no fucking telling what goes on. And man, this place is so wacky. So anyways, those people though, when they start panicking and then not letting the kids go, there was another thing too. Yesterday, where all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, it was another thing for Washington State. Like there's so many things. Like it's fucking wacky when you're in some of these places. Like some of this stuff, I think it's Texas now that they've passed it, every single thing that has aborted fetal tissue in the food has to be written on the packaging. And California has passed some weird, wacky shit lately. Like, there's so much weird, wacky shit going on right now. And one thing is, too, now they're telling women that they're going to start using women who are brain dead as baby carriers, surrogates. They're going to start, we can use them as surrogates. Like, all of this medical ethical stuff is coming up because it's so outrageous. Like, this is what I learned in nursing school. This stuff is so outrageous and what people will accept. And they will always accept things that they think are going to save them, like stem cells and all this stuff, but they don't think about, like, where's this stuff coming from? How are they getting it? What are they doing? Is it ethical? And that's where now we got to have it come to the surface. Well, we're just going to have some little lab baby making places and stuff. So now we got to see the unethical side to what has been going on, and to see what we allowed, what we turned a blind eye to. That is what people have to face. They have to face themselves. They have to face what they accepted. They have to face their own internal bully that comes out when somebody disagrees with them. So, like, when you think about all these big, heavy things, it is a lot of growth, a lot of shaking off the dust. But it is, it's not instantaneous. So, whereas where I thought so many of these things where I saw them and I thought it was going to happen so much faster, just like when I started this channel, I swear to God, I thought it was going to be within a couple of months, everything would already have been done. I was not at all expecting these black smudges. I don't give a shit. Like, it's ridiculous, like, to care about stupid shit like that. Like, fucking, I think coal miners walked around town, like, all the time with dirt on their faces. And, if you disrespected them, then, like, what about your power, dude? Like, how are you powering your house if you're gonna fucking... So, anyways, people got to quit looking at things as so shallow and so nitpicky on people. People are so mean to each other and so nitpicky and hurt people's feelings. And it's just sad because, people who have hurt feelings are hurting other people's feelings. And it's just, we've got this mad circus going on. And everybody needs to stop and take a breath and turn the other direction. And that is where, that's what's going to happen. It's just not going to go down in a pretty way. It's going to go down in a very dramatic, horrible, hard way where a lot of people are going to be traumatized. And, a lot of people already are traumatized. And so, anyways, I just keep rambling. I don't remember if I finished what I was talking about. So anyways, just keep being safe, don't feel silly, if you don't want to be going out. I don't understand why people do want to go out. To me, everything is saying stay safe, stay protected, and stay indoors. Even yesterday, I went out because Stella wanted to go out so bad. I took her for a walk. And I went out and raked the yard and stuff. And the whole time I'm out there, I'm just like, what am I breathing in out here? It's just this fog, weird atmosphere that is out there. And the weird colors. Like, man, I don't know. Everybody's got their own thing here. I know, now I know more of what my stuff is, but still, gotta just watch how things just keep playing out and just stay strong. Just keep working on you. There's just so many people who, they don't realize, like, this is also so you can work on yourself. They just get so stuck focusing on the trauma that they don't step back. So everybody just needs to step back and really work on themselves and really see, like, how did I get here? What am I doing here? Why? Because something in you is trying to heal. Something in you is trying to grow. So, let it happen. Don't block it. Don't hide from it. Just face it. So anyways, I'll just keep rambling and rambling. So I will talk to you later. Hopefully everybody just stays safe and gets through this. Like, there's a whole thing right now too happening. I think Poland's getting invaded. Like, I don't even know. There's so much shit. So, I'm gonna keep focusing on these weird things on my hair. So, anyways, I will talk to you later. I'll talk to you tomorrow, as long as things keep going. It seemed like there was some more stuff, but I swear, when I am looking, it just kept being so many people just saying the same things over and over and over and over. And so anyways, that's what I keep seeing. And that just shows me more and more people waking up to see the truth. God, that looks weird. Okay, so anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.